So what is going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another Zombies Q&A, this series on the channel where I take your questions from the comment section below to do the zombie storyline, Easter eggs, and I answer them. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, you know what to do by now. Drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel. But let's get into it. Here we go, and enjoy. So the first question of today is from Zapman, and you say, "Hey BOA, how did Richtofen survive being on the moon the first time he teleports there in the 40s? So if we take a look at the Canorium, it says on January the 4th, 1940, Richtofen is chosen to conduct their first human teleportation test. Richtofen is so confident in its success, he volunteers himself. Teleported to the moon, he encounters the MPD, the ether pyramid hidden by the apothecans. While inspecting the device, Richtofen is electrocuted and begins hearing the many voices of corruption, including that of the Shadow Man. The device then teleports him to Shangri-La. Corrupted by the dark ether, Richtofen is gradually driven insane by an obsession to find Argotha." So that mentions the first time that Richtofen's ever teleported to the moon. It says he comes face to face with the MPD, but we know during that time, the moon base or Griffin Station wasn't built. So as you say in your question, how did Richtofen survive? How was he able to breathe on the moon? When he stepped in the teleporter, he didn't know it would take him to the moon, so he wasn't wearing a spacesuit or a helmet. He would have been wearing his normal uniform. How Richtofen was able to breathe on the moon, I'm not too sure. Does it have something to do with the MPD? Does it allow you to breathe oxygen when you're near it? Is that an ability I don't know about? It's a bit of a strange one. The next question of the day from Molly says, "Hey BOA, how come Dr. Monty only gave the 4 Marines on Nakda and Totem wall guns the box and drops, but no Pack-a-Punch or perks? But then in the future maps, he gives you those things." So on the original World at War version of Nakda and Totem, the very first map we ever got, it was bare bones. There was no perks, no Pack-a-Punch, but then on the remastered version, in quotation marks, it wasn't really. There were a few small changes such as perks, and then in the Zombies Chronicles remake of Nact, there's even more content such as the Wonder Fizz. So why on the original version, when we were just playing as the 4 Marines, did we get no perks, but on the remastered version when we played as Primus, there was perks? We know that it is Dr. Monty that gives us these things, the mystery box, the Pack-a-Punch machine, the perk machines. Monty transports these items from map to map. He gave them to the random characters that we saw back in World at War, such as the Marines on Verrucht or our characters on Shinonuma and Darius, but he never gave the Marines in Nact anything. There was war weapons which he's responsible for, there was the mystery box, but he didn't give them perks. Now, there is a lot of questions like this where you can simply say it's just down to gameplay. Since this was our very first Zombies map, it was, like I said, bare bones. It was an experiment. Treyarch weren't really planning on going any further with it, so you can say it's just due to gameplay because it was our first Zombies map, there wasn't much there. Or it could be that Monty decided not to give them any perks, or maybe forgot. Why he would do that would be a little bit weird because they are a part of the cycle. Their role in Nact is very important. We still don't know 100% if they ended up surviving Nakda and Totem. All the Canorium says is on June the 4th of 1945, an Allied plane malfunctions over an airfield and crashes. German army trucks transporting the undead and Element 115 between Group 935 facilities is struck in the crash. The Marines surviving the crash hold out against the undead for as long as they can. So it doesn't say if they died or survived. I would assume they didn't make it out alive. I don't see how they would have. I suppose if Monty wanted them to make it out alive, he would have given them perks. It doesn't seem like their role in Nakda and Totem is important to the cycle, but if Monty's giving them weapons and a mystery box, if he's helping them, then obviously it is. Otherwise, he would have just let them die. There are hundreds of survivors still out there that Monty doesn't help, and for some reason, he assisted these. The next question from Chadman says, "Hey BOA, if Richtofen wanted the Victor's crew to work in his favour, why did he send the zombies after them?" I believe the whole point of Richtofen doing this was to keep the transit crew moving, to motivate them. If Richtofen didn't send the zombies after them, if they had nothing chasing them, they wouldn't need Richtofen's help, they wouldn't feel like he was their only saviour, so more than likely they'd go off and do their own thing and not take Richtofen's instructions. I believe that's why Richtofen sent the zombies after the transit crew whilst also needing the transit crew's help. He was tricking them. And remember, it was Ultimus Richtofen that did this, not Primus. It was the Ultimus version of Richtofen who was inside of the MPD, controlling the zombies. He needed someone on the ground to link the pylons for him, so he contacted the transit crew, specifically Stuhlinger since he can talk to him in his head due to their connection through the ether, and told Stuhlinger to convince the transit crew to help him on his journey. The transit crew themselves had no idea that Richtofen was in control of the zombies. They didn't know that he was sending them after them. They just thought, this guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about. He can get us out of this mess. So yeah, if Richtofen didn't send the zombies after Victus, why would they listen to anything he's saying? They wouldn't need his help to be safe from the zombies anymore because they weren't chasing them. The next question says, what happened to Arthur after Buried? So it depends which ending you are asking this question for, because we know for Buried we have two different endings, Maxis and Richtofen. The Maxis side is canon, that's what actually happened, whereas the Richtofen ending isn't canon, that didn't actually happen. I suppose it shows you an alternative ending, but we can go through both endings to see what Arthur's fate was and could have been. So as part of the Richtofen ending, this is the one that isn't canon, that didn't actually take place. Richtofen ends up taking full control of the ether. He then kills Maxis and partially takes over Stuhlinger's body so he can control things down on Earth while still maintaining control over the zombies.
I am in control! The ether is mine to manipulate as I wish! The world is now my own personal plaything! What have you done? I've won, Maxis! That's what I've done!
Oh, what about Samantha? Your actions condemn my daughter's very soul to eternal damnation! Even if you do not care for her, surely you wish to return to your own body!
Not really, no. Won't I already possess the power to leave this netherworld and re-enter the physical realm once more? I can choose any body I will! As for you, Maxis, you will simply cease to be! I'll be the man! Toodles!
No!
Take a deep breath, Samuel. We're about to get a whole lot closer. Such a good thing. What is that stink? No, wait. Something's wrong. I am struggling to control my movements. Okay, maybe I just need some practice.
In this scenario, I would only assume that Arthur would go on to survive. Richtofen doesn't do anything that would affect him. The story doesn't carry on from here, so we can only guess. But if this ending did actually happen, Arthur would have lived. Whereas in the actual ending, what really happened, the Maxis side, well, we know Maxis overthrew Richtofen. He took control of the ether for himself. He then sent Richtofen's soul inside of a zombie, creating zombified Richtofen, and then told Victus he was going to destroy Earth, which is exactly what he did. 19 days after Buried happens, Maxis destroys Earth and all of its surviving inhabitants, including Arthur.
The process has begun! Now I control the ether's energy! I can at last reach Agatha!
Ah, you fools! Why did you listen to him?
Regretfully, I must inform you that neither the Earth nor its people will survive.
Ah, I tried so hard to warn you. Don't go!
Once the gateway is open, I will finally be reunited with my dearest Samantha.
Hello? Are you forgetting something? Even if your wretched daughter is still alive, she has my body!
If you are so eager to re-enter the physical world, Richtofen, I will grant you that fish!
Of course we know, before Maxis blew up the Earth, Victus managed to escape. Another version of Primus Richtofen ended up opening a portal for them, so Victus escaped and went to a different dimension, but everyone else was left trapped and killed 19 days after buried, so Arthur died. A nice little Easter egg or reference towards this is if you go into Blackout, you can actually find buried on this map, and if you go down underground, you will find a grave with Arthur's name on it. It says rest in peace Arthur. I doubt this would have actually happened in the game because Earth was destroyed. Everyone on the planet was killed, so who would have buried him and made his grave? I don't really know. Unless maybe there's a slight chance that he died in those 19 days leading up to the Earth's destruction. That's a possibility, maybe. But either way, Arthur was killed. I also want to mention, I know some of you guys are going to be saying, Eli, his name is Leroy, not Arthur. His name was confirmed to be Arthur by Triarch. That's the official name they give to him, but we'll always know him secretly as Leroy. So there we go, that is it guys, that is all I have for you for today's video. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, you know what to do, drop a like rating, make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Leave your comments down below, and until then, goodbye.